Everybody, happy Father's Day weekend. Listen, I just wanted to jump on real quick and share in this live and just, share some thoughts I have about fatherhood, the most fascinating hood to be a part of. I'm from the fatherhood, and I'm just celebrating all the fathers. I salute all the fathers, all the spiritual fathers, the biological fathers, the grandfathers, the stepfathers, the mentors. Yo, fathers matter. And I just wanted to say a shout out to all the fathers this weekend. If you're watching this live or if you're watching it later, if you're a man or a woman, everyone came from a father, came from a man. And I just want to honor and celebrate and salute all the fathers. A father is the most important position on the earth. Out of all the roles and titles that you could possess, a fatherhood or the position of a father is one of the strongest and most important positions on the earth. You are a father because of your function, not necessarily because you're a male, right? So every man has the potential, the capabilities to be a father, but every male is not a father. And just because you produced a child doesn't necessarily make you a father. I'm going to talk about the functions of a father today. And as I just honor and celebrate the role, the distinctive role, of manhood. And, there's a lot that suggests that fathers are absent, but I believe that we have probably the most active fathers that we've seen in history. I salute every man that's trying to be what you didn't have, right? That's trying to do what you didn't have. If you grew up in a fatherless home, but yet and still you are finding yourself as a father or trying to be a better father than the one you had, salute to you. Fathers are strong foundations of families, and then families are the foundation of nations, and nations and families are built on the strength of its men. And so inherently, every man has the inherent identity of fatherhood built inside of him, because it is the primary function of a man. And so this is why every man, whether you have natural children or not, in your role or function as in leadership, helping mentor, mature, and develop other men or other young ladies is so significant and powerful in your approach. Listen, three things very quickly, and then I'm jumping off, that fathers do. Three things that you can write down or ruminate over and think about that fathers do. Fathers give, fathers guide, and fathers guard. All right, type that down. Fathers give, fathers guide, and fathers guard. You are a father because of what you give. And I'm not just talking about financial resources. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about talent and treasure. You are a father because of what you give. A father is a progenitor. Pro means support. Genes means your genes. It means you support your genes. You're a progenitor, an originator. You support what comes from you. A father is essentially a source and a sustainer, not just a resource. A lot of people try to treat a father only as a resource, but he's not just a resource. He is a source. And so a father gives his time, his talent, his treasure, his intellect, his wisdom, his insight. He's a giver by nature. He's built as a giver. He's wired to give and wants to give and be in a position to be a giver. There is a a financed attack against manhood, against fatherhood. There is a systematic effort to fight against the father being present and being able to provide and being a source or a sustainer. But Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children. This verse keeps your goals and your vision and your legacy alive, keeps it front and center. How are you providing for your giving to your family, your time, your talent, and your treasure? Don't just treat that man as a resource. He is resourceful, but he is also a source. The second thing is, not only does a father give, but a father guides. A father guides. When you think about a father guiding, Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is older, he will not depart from his training. Right. This conversation is really a money conversation. If you study it out in context, it's talking about stewardship, training and teaching and guarding and guiding. So fathers guide. The goal of fatherhood is to train your children, right? Fathers provide ways of thinking. They provide principles, systems of belief, behavior for ways of thinking, principles for how to live. Fathers should be a source of wisdom, a source of insight, a source of a missing, what I call the missing perspective, right? If fathers don't tell their children, if they don't guide and tell their children who they are, then culture will tell your children who they are not, right? So culture is pulling, music is pulling, media is pulling at the minds and the hearts of the identity of our children. And when fathers are present, guiding, they create boundaries of their perspective, creates boundaries, and they protect the identity of their children. So when fathers don't tell your children who they are, then culture will try to tell them who they're not, and this is why the goal of the enemy is to mute fathers, right? Because of their voice, because of the power of their words. The goal of the enemy is to mute fathers, because when fathers are silent, then sons get destroyed. When fathers are silent, when they're mute, then sons get destroyed. And if you are a son or a daughter, you didn't always obey your father or obey your mother, but their voice, that sound reasoning, that judgment, that wisdom, that perspective held, or you could hear it even when you were trying to get far away from it, right? And so when fathers are silent, then men get destroyed. When fathers are silent or passive, then girls turn to men without a plan, right? Fathers guide, they protect. You can't choose who your sons or your choose to be in a relationship with, but at least if you are not silent, you can provide a perspective so that you ask the right questions, so they don't turn to girls or to guys without plans. When fathers are silent, then boys don't turn into men. They actually turn into men, but they still act like boys, right? When fathers are silent, then boys turn into men and still behave like boys. That's the way that I want to say it. So fathers cannot afford to be silent, because fathers guide. When fathers are silent, daughters get manipulated. When fathers are quiet, silent, daughters get manipulated, right? And so your guidance as a man, as a father, is significant and is important. Your perspective is necessary and absolutely needed. All right. The third thing is that fathers guard, right? So fathers give, fathers guide, and fathers guard. The Bible says in Proverbs 14:26, whoever fears the Lord has secured the fortress, and for their children it will be a refuge. So your presence guards and create a refuge. This is why never let anything or anybody give up or cause you to give up your presence, or to fall back from being active and present, even if the relationship between you and your child's mom did not work, even if the relationship, ladies, if you're watching, between you and your child's father did not work. Do not get in the way of their presence, right? Because that guarding becomes a refuge. A father is a force. His literal presence protects, right? His presence is a protector. His presence is a protector. His perspective is a protector, right? Just seeing things like guys see things, right? Just knowing and having a sense and a voice in certain space is a protector. And so the father is the source that sustains and protects and nourishes and provides for the identity of whatever it is that he produces. And so fathers, you're guarding, you're necessary to be present and to be a guard in the hearts and the lives of your children. So I just wanted to jump on real quick to say I honor, salute, and celebrate every functioning every functioning father. And these are some of the roles that I see that a father plays. Ladies, if you enjoyed this, share it with a man. Brothers, if you enjoyed this, let me know. Your presence is needed and your perspective is absolutely necessary. So Father, I just thank you for every family and every father and every man that's standing in his function and in his most important role. And I pray that he feels honor and respect, that he feels love and appreciated this season, that he steps in, leans into his role in manhood, and that the women in his life will support, celebrate, champion, and not create barriers for him to function in his optimum role and environment. And I thank you for every mentor, every teacher, every coach, every biological, every father, every man that modeled manhood. And I salute every father who's functioning to be a father, even if they didn't have a physical father present. And I honor and celebrate you, our Father, who is always teaching us how to be and do what it is that you called us to do. Bless every man, and I salute every man. Happy Father's Day weekend, brothers, and I celebrate you. Peace. Fatherhood. It's the best hood.